Welcome, welcome. It's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, bringing you another Star Citizen video. And this is going to be my final video of the Professions of the Verse series for now. We may have to revisit this a year or two down the road. We'll have to wait and see how things turn out. But if you haven't seen the other Professions of the Verse videos, there are a bunch of them. This is number 19 in the series. We've done them on outlaws, mining, cargo, mercenary, salvage, fuel collection and refining, exploration, building or construction, medical, gameplay, info runners, personal transports, bounty hunters, repairs, scientists, entrepreneurs, racers, news reporters. So what's left? Well, you know there's going to be a lot of other professions in the verse. Things that I haven't thought about for sure. Things that probably you haven't thought about. And I'm just going to share a few that I have thought about that don't necessarily fall under the categories that we have talked about. Or maybe they kind of do and they kind of don't. They can kind of overlap a little bit. And largely there's not any ships in the game that really, I would say, would go great with those professions. Like, you could use just about any ship depending on what the task is, what you needed to do in those professions. Most of the other professions in the verse have a ship or two that go along really well with the mechanic or with the job that you're going to do. Such as my last video with the tugboat captain. I mean, the SRV is fantastic in that role. Excuse me. And, you know, there's ships that are fantastic for medical gameplay. So this is going to be one that there's not really specific ships that are going to benefit the profession as much as some of the others. So first, let me briefly mention which professions I have thought of. The secret arts, meaning spies or assassins. Those are going to be very much a profession you can undertake. Though it may not be paid out by NPCs as much as it would be by player characters. And we'll go a little bit more in depth on those in a minute. Diplomats. So your whole job could be to be a liaison with other orgs or different groups, you know, pirates or even law enforcement. you know, you may be trying to go out and make treaties, etc. So I would also throw like a negotiator or a broker kind of in that role, though I see the diplomat being more beholden to one specific entity or org, whereas a negotiator or broker can act as kind of like a middleman. All those are kind of like the same, but slightly different depending on your definition of them. So yeah, a middleman could be anything from for sales, black market stuff. You know, like I said, it could be a negotiator or a broker. So you're negotiating between two orgs that have been fighting, maybe. Of course, that would be also a role of a diplomat, but maybe the diplomats aren't getting the job done and they hire a third party, which would be you, a negotiator, to come in and broker a deal. So those are some of the different jobs that I've thought of that just right offhand that you could do in the verse. I know you guys have probably thought of a million of them. Leave a comment. Let me know some other jobs you've thought of down below this video. And maybe I can go into talking about those in a future video. So let's talk about probably the most broad position, which is going to be a spy. So if you are going to be a spy in the verse, what does that mean? And yes, I still do have a cough. I apologize. So what does it mean to be a spy in the verse? Well, to me, a spy is going to be somebody. Let's take my org for instance, and I'm not saying we're going to deploy spies. I do think that's really underhanded and kind of dishonorable, but that's my personal opinion. it's going to happen. EVE Online is a perfect example. You can read stories upon stories upon stories how people have been embedded in certain orgs for 3 or 4 years. The whole time, just getting in deeper and deeper in that org, just so they can screw them over at a most inopportune time, or take over their biggest ships or bases or something along those lines. The same thing is going to happen in Star Citizen, because a lot of those EVE players are coming to Star Citizen as well. I know in my org we have quite a few EVE players or former EVE players, and they were known to do some different things like that. It's going to happen. So there are going to be spies that will intentionally infiltrate your organization only to do as much damage or share all of your secret information. They're going to go higher and higher up the chain, or get deeper and deeper involved with whatever secrets you may have. Maybe their whole goal is to find out where you have a javelin parked, so that they can relay it back to their other org that they are spying for, so that they can come and take it from you because they want a javelin. Just to name one instance. What if your org's the lucky one that finds the bingle? Spies are going to be extremely important if your org is, or if the spy's org is wanting to acquire that bingle. That information, I'm sure, is going to be widely spread through most organizations if they pick up the bingle, because they're going to need as many people as possible to fix the thing up, to get it flight worthy, and to protect it around the clock. It's going to be a persistent ship, so it's going to be hard to keep that information secret, especially when you need such a huge undertaking to get that ship up and running. So spies could be really detrimental to doing something like that. Spies are going to be very detrimental to any org. So if you're an org leader and you're trying to do any kind of counterintelligence, it's going to be very hard to do, because people take advantage. You see that every day in life, and it's crappy when it happens in life, and it's going to be really crappy when it happens in the game. Just make sure that you keep an eye on all the people in your org, or you have people keeping an eye on people who are keeping an eye on people who are keeping an eye on people. I hate to say that. You can't be super paranoid, or this game's never going to be fun. So don't approach it like that. And like I said, I could have spies in my org right now and I wouldn't know it. I do have, half my org is guys who are affiliated, meaning that they have a main org somewhere else. But being a Texan, I am pretty trusting of other Texans, even though there's good ones and bad ones, just like anywhere else. And my org is fairly open with all the members as far as what we're doing. So, and I want to keep that transparency for the most part. Now, when we get larger and larger and larger, then we will have to, figure out how the information is going to be disseminated amongst the whole group. There are orgs out there that, will operate completely as spies. So that's not us. We are, I'm not going to say we'll never send a spy out. I hope we never have to send a spy out. Let's put it that way. Because, again, I think that's kind of a dishonorable. I know that I don't want it happening to my org. It probably will. It probably already has happened. But that's just not the way I want to play the game. I want to enjoy the game. I don't want somebody ruining my experience. And I hope a lot of you guys out there are the same way. And I hope a lot of you guys will view spies as some of the worst scum in the universe. Right up there with people who will shoot pilots who have ejected. To me, it's almost worse than that, to be honest, because you're not just messing with one person, which you would if you were shooting ejected pilots. You are messing with an entire org of people, a bunch of people who are just working hard towards a singular goal, or towards a singular idea. They put a lot of time and effort into it, and a spy could come along and really, ruin the experience for everybody. I think that's going to be a bad experience for Star Citizen as a whole. I think you'll have people that will quit by high margins of numbers if it happens to their org. It will just ruin the game for them. And some people will just roll with the punches, but I do believe you'll see some fall off like that. Because the game's supposed to be fun. Yeah, crap happens, but that's really crappy. So that would be one type of job. Again, like I said, not my favorite job at all, but it's going to happen. Expect it. It's already happening. Expect that. And it could be happening in your org. So hopefully you can put some security measures in place that no one person is going to be able to screw the org over like that. Or you have some really, people that you can really, really, really trust in positions that they're not going to do that. So I hope and pray that that doesn't happen to anybody that watches my videos, because it's not going to be a fun experience. You're not going to enjoy it. The spy may be the only one that enjoys it, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So let's talk about the other secret art, which is going to be an assassin. So an assassin in the game, to me, it's not going to be as crappy of a job as being a spy, because your goal is to take out one person, and you're going to get hired to go out and do these hits, whether it's by an NPC, which we know in the next patch in 3.9 there's going to be an assassin mission, and it's going to take 2 assassins to complete the mission. So supposedly, once the mission timer goes off, you have a very short time to hit 2 targets. Like, you have to have 2 people to do it successfully, is what they were saying in the last Star Citizen Inside Star Citizen video. So we know assassination jobs are going to be in the game. Why not be able to specialize in assassination? Like Boba Fett was a specialist in bounty hunting. There are people that have specialized in assassination, which means you're going to have all the tricks of the trade, whether that be a ship that's capable of taking people out, or guns. Maybe you're going to have some sort of gun that you can conceal in every port, and you're able to take somebody out. Maybe there's going to be some sort of poison that you can get in the game and spike their coffee cup, so when they go to drink, it takes them down. Question is, with the permadeath mechanic and the way it's working, people will have to die a few times before they're truly dead. An assassin, your job is to make them truly dead. That part's not cool, but is it going to be possible to just do that? I know they've said certain headshots with a laser will kill people permanent dead. It's going to happen in the game too. Just like having spies is going to happen, having an assassin in the game is going to happen. And if they're really, really good at their job, people are going to be upset. But that role will happen. I expect far fewer assassins than I do spies in the game. And that's going to be a really hard line of work to be really good at. But you're going to need to be able to falsify information or documents, ship registers. You're going to have to be able to be very sneaky, to do silent takedowns, to infiltrate bases, ships, etc. You may have to use some of the spying roles where you can infiltrate an org to get to your target. So there's going to be a lot of skill involved in being an assassin. I say there's more skill involved with an assassin than there is with a spy. A spy, you just have to role play more or less, whereas an assassin, you're going to have a whole other set of skills to be successful. How much are people going to pay to assassinate certain people? Well, I guess it depends on how bad they want them dead and how much money you're going to charge. But that's definitely going to be a profession that some people will seek out on both ends of it. So let's move on to diplomats. Diplomats, their whole role is going to be like, we'll have a diplomat, we'll have a whole diplomat corps in Texas. So these people will have the responsibility of reaching out to other orgs, communicating with those orgs, either creating mutual protection pacts, alliances, treaties. Maybe it's going to be like a resource treaty where, hey, we've got tons and tons of titanium. You guys got tons and tons of diamond. Let's corner the market in this system on both of those things. We won't get in the diamond trade. You don't get in the titanium trade. Something along those lines. That's very loose definition of one of those trade treaties, but that's what could happen. One of the things that I would really like my org to be able to do is whenever we discover a system out in the verse that we want to settle on, we pick a planet, well, home planet, it'll be our new home system. I would not mind if we opened up the planet for other orgs to come settle on as their home operation or base as well. And everybody on that planet would operate under a mutual protection treaty for that planet. It's going to be everybody's home planet. Everybody's going to want to protect it the same. And if anybody breaks that treaty, all the orgs that are calling that planet home will have free reign to destroy that org that broke the treaty. I would like that to be a thing. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the Battletech universe, but Wolf's Dragoons had a planet. I think it was called Outreach or I don't know, something along those lines. And it was a home to a lot of mercenary units, and they had like a mutual protection treaty and etc. there, where you attack one, you attack all of them. To me, that's perfect for a perfect place for people to negotiate with each other, to work out deals. I just think it would be awesome to have something like that. And if somebody needs to hire a mercenary group, it would be perfect place for them to show up and then have a pick of the litter, so to speak. They can sort through all the mercenary groups there. They can talk with all of them there and figure out which one's going to be the best suited for the job that they need. I would really love to set that up. I know there's an organization out there called Senate, which Montoya from Test has talked about, where some of the top orgs have representation. Texas hasn't been invited to that yet, but if we had a homeworld that was set up out there like that, that would be a perfect place for the Senate to, I guess, do your backroom deals and to be set up at. So a diplomat would be in charge of setting up all these treaties, all these different kinds of treaties and whatnot. Whereas like a negotiator or a broker would be a third party that could come in between two orgs. Let's say orgs were disputing a mining claim or something. They could hire this third party to come in and say, okay, well, you have the rights to the diamonds, you have the rights to the titanium, and away you go. Hopefully they could come to a mutual term, but it's just an intermediary that can work out a deal between two people, two organizations, so that both can have a satisfactory outcome. A lot of orgs aren't going to want to go to war. It's just going to cost too much. Their ship, nobody wants their ship to blow up, especially when you get to permanent death and all that. They don't want to waste the manpower or the resources. A lot of orgs won't, unless they're just massive and have endless resources. So a negotiator can come in and stop a war from happening just by negotiating some sort of a peace. Maybe it's a situation where one org wants to settle a planet and another org's trying to as well. And there's going to have to be some sort of negotiation on, hey, you get this half, you get this half, or hey, this world was discovered, we'll let you have this one if you let us have this one. You get the idea. Negotiator's going to be able to negotiate those types of treaties between two orgs without having a vested interest in either org. That's the difference between the negotiator and the diplomat in that regard. You're also going to have middlemen. The middlemen will be responsible for doing stuff like, ship sales. Maybe you come across a derelict, derelict Idris out in space, and one org's just like, hey, I don't want to spend the time or the effort to get this thing back up and running. It's a little bit too big of a job to salvage. I need to find somebody that can do this, but I want to protect this information to where not just anybody can come and, find my claim. So you may hire a trusted middleman that will have the information, hold it in trust, and then put out some feelers for people that are interested in Idrises and stuff. There might be an org that says, hey, we really want to get an Idris, we'll fix it up, etc. The middleman might be able to help find that person, or that org may be able to find the middleman, and they can broker a deal for, the information where that Idris is derelict, and, pay the guy who found it. So this could be really important, especially between individuals and larger orgs. Say you're not a part of an org, and you come across a derelict like that. You're not going to be able to resurrect that Idris. You're not going to be able to salvage that Idris by yourself. You're just not going to have the resources, the time, the energy, the money, in most cases. So you're going to probably hold on to that information, keep it safe somewhere until you can find a middleman or somebody that will buy that information from you. A middleman would be a great way to make sure you don't get cheated if they're a trusted person. So I see a middleman being a pretty good role for somebody to take. You'll get a small cut of whatever it is. So let's say you're selling that information about an Idris for 1 million credits. Hopefully you sell it for higher than that, but let's say you do. The middleman would get like a 10% cut, or maybe even more. I don't know. That'll have to be worked out later in the game. So you can kind of see where the middleman role would come into effect. So guys, I only went through a few, and I know there's going to be a million more that you're going to think about out there. Oh, there's another one. How about a commentator? You could be a commentator for the sporting events, races, for Sata Ball, something like that. I know it's silly, probably, but some people, they want to do that. There's YouTubers and Twitch streamers out there that are also commentators, and that would be right up their alley to do something like that. They can commentate in-game on the game. Really kind of an interesting, trade. If you can get paid to do that for somebody that's broadcasting it, maybe it goes well hand in hand. Kind of goes with the news reporter idea, but I think it could work independently of that. You can be an independent contractor as a commentator and get hired to do these events. So that's definitely a possibility. So see, I'm just coming up with ideas right now, good or bad. Somebody's going to want to do that role most likely. So you guys, leave in the comments down below what ideas you have for jobs in the verse. What can be a good profession that I haven't gone over in this series. I'm sure you'll have a bunch of great ideas, and like I said, maybe I can go over some of those in a future video. Real quick, if you're interested in joining an org, I'll have my org information down below. We're still looking for people. We have people from all over the world in the org. We have people in South Africa, Denmark, Australia, of course in Texas, all over the United States. You don't have to be a Texan to join the org. You can become a Texan. So if that's something that interests you, by all means, go to our org page on the RSI website and apply. Also, we've got a live stream coming up Saturday, March 7th at 7 p.m. or about that. I'm going to do my best to have a decent stream. I can't promise anything because I'm kind of new at it, so I won't have all the gimmicks and stuff that a lot of people are established with. I'm going to do my first subscriber giveaway that night during the live stream. So if you want to have a chance to win, you need to sign up before Friday, March 6th, 8 a.m. I said p.m. in my last video, a.m. In the morning Central Time to be a part of that. So go ahead and get subscribed for that. If you like these videos, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon so you know when I do more of these. I really, really do appreciate all you guys who have subscribed, who have watched my videos over the last 3 or 4 months. Some of you have been with me for a lot longer than that. but this channel has really taken off, at least in my eyes, over the last 3 months, and I'm ecstatic. I totally and completely appreciate all of it. You guys help me get this channel all the way up. I want to be up there with the board gamers and those kinds of guys. Maybe I can quit my day job, right? If I make enough money on the ads and stuff from these videos, my wife will actually let me spend more time doing all the edits and stuff, and the videos will only get better. So help me out as much as you can. I really, really appreciate it. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and we'll see you out in the verse.